Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Courtney Ryan, and today I'm going to go over something that I've talked about so many times on my channel, and that is how to stop being needy, clingy, and insecure. So I've talked a lot on my channel about how unattractive these qualities are, but I've never really done a deep dive into things that you can do to stop doing these things. So today, again, going to be going over how you can cut this out of your life, and at the end I'm going to share a little personal story because, believe it or not, I used to be this type of person as well. So if you're thinking, Courtney, you have no idea what you're talking about, I do, because I've been there. I also wanted to mention that if you find yourself doing these things, there is nothing to be ashamed of. This is often a part of ourselves that we have to heal from our childhood and an anxious attachment style. So have a little bit of grace with yourself and don't be ashamed of doing these things, because all you can do is try to work on it and be better. Tip number one is to have your own passions. I talk about this a lot, and this is important if you are single or even if you're in a relationship. And more than just passions, this could be hobbies, a general interest in something, just things that keep you busy and things that you like to do. Having things that you really enjoy doing on your own is going to help you build a more fulfilling life so that you don't need to rely on someone else for that fulfillment or for that happiness, and you can start creating it for yourself. I think staying busy is kind of the key here. Your life should not revolve around someone else. I think that's something that when we get into a relationship, sometimes we let slide a little bit. We start to spend more time with our partner, obviously, which is totally great and 100% acceptable because you're getting to know that person. You want to be with that person because you like them or you love them. It makes complete sense, but don't lose sight of yourself and let yourself kind of stray away from things that you like to do as well, because even when you are in a relationship, I think having alone time and things that you enjoy doing by yourself are incredibly important. This could be reading, it could be working out, cooking, baking, meditating, yoga, whatever the heck this looks like for you. Just really keeping yourself busy so that you aren't attached and needing that other person 24/7 to keep you entertained or fulfill your life or make you happy. Your happiness and fulfillment should not be coming from another person. That person should be complementing your already happy and fulfilled self. If you're someone who's struggling with this and you feel like you look at your life and you have nothing that you enjoy doing or any kind of hobbies or passions, just kind of take a step back and think about some things that you might enjoy doing. Even if you aren't 100% sure, it doesn't hurt to try new things and just kind of see where it goes. You could sign up for some sort of class, like a group activity, and this could also be a really great way to meet some friends as well. Number two, we have improving your self-esteem, and trust me, I know this is much easier said than done. And kind of to tie this one into the last point I just made, understand that you are capable of doing things on your own, and that person that's entering your life should not be your life. They should just be complementing your life. So building your self-esteem, building your self-confidence is crucial into creating a life that you love and that you don't feel like you need that other person for. So Courtney, how do I go about building my self-esteem? Number one, something I've talked about before on my channel, is start making promises to yourself and actually keeping them. If you tell yourself you're going to go to the gym, don't just say you're going to go to the gym. You have to actually follow through and go to the gym. Even if it's just one small promise a day, if you start to keep the promises that you make to yourself, you're going to build your self-confidence, you're going to build your productivity and your self-esteem and your relationship with yourself, because you're learning to trust yourself. And if you can learn to trust yourself, it makes it easier to trust those around you as well. Because think about it, if you're constantly betraying yourself or self-sabotaging and you don't trust yourself at all, it also makes it incredibly hard to trust the people around you, which is sometimes also where this clingy and needy behavior comes from. So keep that in mind. And if telling yourself or thinking something in your head is not enough for you to keep that promise to yourself, I want you to write it down. This is something that really helps me. If I know I have things that I want to do for the day, I'll write them down in my planner. And then when I look back, I see them there and I'm like, oh, I haven't done that yet. I need to do it so that I can cross it off. So you kind of make it like a game or a goal-oriented thing with yourself. And I think it just really helps to visualize it, or you could tell someone as well, just to kind of hold you accountable in the beginning. So this is something that I started doing that really increased my self-confidence. Honestly, this is something that I really used to struggle with, but ever since I started writing things down and trying to keep at least one promise to myself a day, it has really helped build my self-confidence and just the way that I feel about myself. So if you haven't tried this out, I know I've told you to do it many times before, but I want this to be your video homework assignment. So try it and let me know in the comments down below what you did and how it helped you. If you're not confident, if you have no self-esteem, if you don't love yourself, yourself, you're not going to really feel like you bring anything to the table in your relationship, and it's going to make you feel really insecure and then just increase that clinginess and neediness. Loving yourself and the relationship that you have with yourself reflects every other relationship that you have in your life, and all the other relationships can only be as healthy as that one you have with yourself. So keep this in mind going forward. I think this is an incredibly important place to start if you don't currently love yourself or have a good relationship with yourself. Your other relationships are going to reflect that. Number 3, stop worrying. A lot of that clingy and needy behavior often stems from worrying about what your partner is doing when you are not around, or even when you are around. You might think they're gonna leave you, you might be incredibly jealous, just a ton of negative stuff going on that you wanna cut out of your life immediately. You have to stop worrying about all of that because, to put it simply, you cannot control other people, and we don't have time to worry about things that we can't control. You can't control if your partner cheats or loses interest or does something shady behind your back. You can only control yourself. You have to learn to trust yourself enough to know that if you were in that situation, say your partner did cheat on you, would you be able to walk away if it's something that you weren't okay with? So just understanding that you can only control how you respond and react to situations and not what that other person does will give you so much power, because you're not going to be worrying about all those unnecessary things that you can't control anyway. If you find yourself wanting to talk to them all day to keep tabs on them, or wanting to hang out with them 24/7 so that you always know what they're doing, this is a huge issue. You should trust that person regardless of if you're with them or talking to them all the time. So if you can't, that might be another red flag for you. And honestly, being clingy and needy and insecure and jealous in situations like this is only going to push you guys further apart and totally go against everything you're trying to do or you think that you're doing. So if you can't trust the person that you're with because of something that they've done to you in the past that's made you not be able to trust them, then you probably just shouldn't be with them. So again, if your desire to want to be around them or talk to them 24/7 stems from a place of worry or jealousy, this is something that you really need to get control of, because it's only going to push you guys further apart and make your relationship not a good one. So keep this in mind. And the biggest takeaway from this point is to understand that you should be focusing on the things that you can control rather than the things that you cannot control. So worrying about what your partner is doing is really out of your control and a waste of your time. Number 4, we have put down the phone. And this is a huge 21st century habit that I think a lot of us are actually addicted to, which is kind of a problem at this point. Stop checking obsessively to see if they've texted you back, or if they've watched your Instagram story, or if they've posted where they're at on their story on Snapchat, okay? Just put the phone down. Take a chill pill, relax. There is no need to be obsessively worrying about where they're at or what they're doing. Again, like I mentioned before in my stop worrying point, this also stems from that one, and I think social media has just intensified this times like 1,000, because you can constantly see what people are doing. If they're replying to comments, if they're posting on their Instagram story or their Snapchat story, or posting a photo, like, you just can keep tabs on people so much easier now. And I think this is a huge issue for people that have that anxious attachment style, because even if you're not with them, you feel like you're with them and you're watching their every move, which is just creepy. And when it comes to texting, you don't need to text this person 24/7. If you are busy at work during the day, it's okay to put your phone down and get your job done instead of texting your girlfriend. So chill out, it's fine. If she freaks out because you're not texting her, that's a huge red flag anyways. And pro tip here, if you have time to be obsessively stalking someone or talking to someone 24/7, you need to find something else to do. And the last tip on my list, number 5, is to take things slow. There really is no need to rush, and when we do that and put a time constraint on something, we panic. It creates a ton of unnecessary pressure, stress, and often ends up in a negative result anyways. Trying to move too fast or rush things can often even do the opposite of what you're aiming for and end up scaring your partner off. So I see a ton of people do this. You go on one date and then you become absolutely obsessed with this person. You're trying to hang out with them tomorrow. You're texting all the time. You're trying to hang out with them all the time. And it just becomes like the center of your universe and becomes something that you obsess over. You get one-itis. Things just aren't looking good for you. So I would highly recommend just chilling out, go with the flow, see where things go naturally, and don't feel this unnecessary pressure to rush things or to put a label on things or to put this unnecessary time constraint on every single thing in your life. I think society has kind of put a timeline on what our lives should look like, and I think it stresses a lot of people out. So don't compare your journey to someone else's. It's okay if your life looks a little bit different than the people you're seeing on social media. You don't need to rush into things, and often you'll get better results if you're very thoughtful about what you're doing and you just take things slow. So I told you guys in the beginning that being kind of needy and clingy is something that I used to struggle with, and the reason for this was because I had no idea who I was or what I wanted to do with my life, and I really just felt a lack of fulfillment and a lack of self that then made me cling to other people and outside sources to fill my cup, to make me feel fulfilled, and to make me happy. And let me tell you what, that is exhausting, and I know so many of you are living this way as well. So doing the 5 things on this list that I mentioned today really helped me be a better friend, better partner, a better me, and just really have a better life in general. So I would highly encourage all of you to do this. It's not even about being needy or clingy in a relationship necessarily, but really just enjoying your life and understanding that you can create all of that for yourself, and you don't need to rely on other people for that. And that's often where that very needy and clingy and just insecurity comes from. So I hope you all found this video helpful. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to be in the loop for when I release new content. If you haven't already, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Courtney Christine Ryan. I love connecting with all of you guys on there as well. Let me know in the comments below if this is something that you struggle with. I would love to hear some tips from you. Share your wealth with all the other guys down below. Always love to hear from all of you guys. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.